Pompeii DNA overturns long-held assumptions about its victims. The devastation of Pompeii by the eruption of the Vesuvius volcano in 79 AD is one of the best recorded disasters in human history. The ash and pumice that rained down preserved traces of the dying when they fell, leaving us to guess the identities and relationships of the people left frozen in time. But we humans are imperfect. We navigate the world with perceptions and biases that cloud our observations, no matter how we try to remain objective. A new analysis of DNA retrieved from the victims of Pompeii reveals our assumptions about them were wrong, a discovery that's giving us insight into the bustling life of Pompeii before volcanoes snuffed it out. My question is, where did they get the DNA from? All these victims turn into stone. Anyway, the scientific data we provide do not always align with common assumptions, say geneticist David Reich of Harvard University. For instance, one notable example is the discovery that an adult wearing a golden bracelet and holding a child traditionally interpreted as a mother and child were an unrelated adult male and child. Similarly, a pair of individuals thought to be sisters, or mother and daughter, were found to include at least one genetic male. These findings challenge traditional gender and familial assumptions. The volcanic material dumped on Pompeii when Vesuvius exploded acted as a sort of flash fossilization process. It fell on and around the dead and dying, then set in place. When the bodies succumbed to time and decay, they left hollow impressions behind the ash. The ruins were rediscovered in the 19th century. In the 1870s, plaster was poured into the hollows to create casts of the bodies that had created them, but the shapes of the bodies were not the only thing preserved. The bones left behind were also sealed into the plaster. The archaeologists who made the casts of the 19th century could not have foreseen the emergence of future technology. Nevertheless, their work would prove invaluable more than 150 years later. That's because the casts give us context for details preserved in the genetic makeup of the victim, which in turn helps us understand life in Pompeii and Roman-era Italy. The analysis, led by forensics archaeologist Elena Pili of University of Florence in Italy, was conducted on fragmentary skeletal remains from 14 plaster casts, selected from 86 casts that are currently undergoing restoration. This is no easy task. Anthropologist Elisa Mitnick of Harvard University and the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Germany told Science Alert. Both the extreme heat during the volcanic eruption and the plaster casting process could be detrimental for long-term DNA preservation. In genetic analysis, we usually try to target skeletal elements that are known to preserve DNA exceptionally well, such as their inner ear portion of the skull or teeth, she said. In this study, we had to be less selective, as we were only able to take samples from the parts of the skeletons that were exposed in damaged casts that were undergoing restoration. The difficulty of obtaining ancient DNA under these circumstances is evident in the fact that only 6 of the 14 sampled individuals provided us with genetic data. Those six individuals were sufficient to provide a significant challenge to what we thought we knew about the victims of Pompeii. The casts are excellent but not perfect, and detail can be a little hard to gauge just by eye, so archaeologists relied on other clues. The ostentatious golden bracelet worn by the person embracing the child was thought to be woman's jewelry. The tender affection with which each pair embraced was interpreted as feminine. Both of these assumptions, it turns out, were not correct. At the House of the Golden Bracelet, 4 individuals interpreted as partners, as parents, and their 2 children were not genetically related to each other. At least one individual in the embracing pair was a man, and likely the other was too. The findings hint at a much deeper, more complex society than we had imagined for Pompeii. So it seems that all these 4 individuals here were not related to each other. I had encountered, the scientist said, the conventional narrative surrounding some of these groups of victims before studying them scientifically, and they seemed plausible to me. Therefore, I was quite surprised to see that the genetic results uncovered that there is more to these people's stories than what meets the eye, Mitnick told Science Alert. The findings make us reconsider simplistic interpretations of gender and family dynamics in Roman society that might not reflect modern Western intuitions. The analysis also revealed a greater genetic diversity in Pompeii than was suspected. The individuals studied were mainly descendants from relatively recent immigrants from the Eastern Mediterranean and Near East, rather than the people who had lived in the local region for centuries. This is similar to diversity seen more broadly across the Roman region of Western Italy, reflecting early forays into globalization, facilitated by strengthening trade across the Roman Empire. And this is just 6 individuals in the city of thousands. It's a staggering result, but not only does it give us new glimpse into the lives of people who lived thousands of years ago, it's a sobering reminder to try and check our biases at the door if we want to conduct an accurate study of human history. While our findings allow us to challenge some of the traditional narratives, we must be careful not to repeat the same mistake, Mitnick said. Instead, our results emphasize the importance of integrating various lines of evidence and of not superimposing modern assumptions onto ancient contexts. This was published in Current Biology, and it's on Science Alert by Michelle Starr. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.